correspondent Jonathan Peleda backs calls for the establishment of a War and Economic Crimes Code, says people must account for liable killings during the Liberian Civil War. And away from Liberia, soldiers from Sudan's army have recaptured the headquarters of the state broadcaster in Oram, the army says. These, including the news bulletin, the voices of the newsmakers polls, are all anticipated on today's edition of the news program. Let's welcome Mark Davis to bring us the news bulletin. Good evening.
Good evening, Henson. Good evening, everyone. The Director General of the Civil Service Agency, Josiah Jokai, has revealed an astonishing payroll statistics of 67,746 employees across 103 spending entities, with an alarming monthly wage bill of over 23.5 million United States dollars. Jokai vowed to implement stringent measures focusing on streamlining the workforce, eliminating redundancies, inefficiencies, and irregularities. During the official takeover ceremony on Tuesday, the CSA boss emphasized a shift in focus from employment to cleaning up the payroll, aiming to address long-standing complexities, financial burdens, and workforce inefficiencies. According to him, the current bank balance in the CSA account stands at 191 United States dollars, with a Liberian dollar balance of 10,200, while the CSA's total employee strength is 322. The Director General disclosed that more than 200 employees are concentrated at the central office, contributing to a wage bill of over 227,000 US dollars. At the same time, Jokai has announced plans to request a comprehensive national forensic payroll audit covering the period 2022 to 2023 with the approval of the president. This move follows a previous audit conducted by the General Auditing Commission for the period January 2018 to December 2021, where recommendations were overlooked, leading to persistent issues within the agency's payroll system. In its efforts to alleviate financial strain on civil servants, the new CSA Director General has proposed the implementation of a bi weekly payment system pending approval from the President and the Senate. The system will see employees receive half of their salary on the 15th of each month, with the remaining disbursed on the 30th, aiming to mitigate the burden of borrowing money at high interest rates. The joint committee set up by the House of Representatives to investigate reports of non-compliance and bad labor practices at China Union have presented its findings to the plenary of the House of Representatives. Representative P. Mahjure, who chairs the Joint Committee on Concession and Investments, Labor and Judiciary, said their investigation established that China Union is in total violation of the concession agreement with the government. Representative Jure, presenting the committee report on Tuesday in section, said employees of China Union have no safe drinking water and they are working without safety gears. He added that China Union has over the years refused to pay remittances of employees to Social Security and recommended that the company within 3 months renovate the Bong Mines Hospital and the school as enshrined in the agreement. For his part, the proponent of the communication that led to the investigation, Bong County District 7 representative for the family, told the management of China Union that his advocacy over the years is not intended to destroy the company, but for the right things to be done in the interest of the people of District 7, Bong County, and Liberia at large. Representative Famode noted that he will remain engaged with the company to ensure that the mandate of the House of Representatives is implemented to the fullest. Veteran Liberian journalist and former BBC correspondent in Liberia, Jonathan Pelele, has backed calls for the establishment of a one economic crimes court in the country. He said the court is not only for people who committed crimes during the 14-year civil war, but it will also serve as deterrence for people who will want to indulge in similar acts in the future. Pelele, who provided extensive coverage of the war as BBC correspondent recounted several massacres that took place across the country during the war, including the arbitrary killing of about 800 people in Polokpalai, Bong County, the Lutheran Church massacre in Monrovia, amongst others. He noted that all these people did not die in crossfire, adding there were deliberate killings and people must be held to account for these wanton murders. Jonathan Pelede, who is now into politics, said he is irritated when people who participated in the war try to defend their actions but are opposing the establishment of the court for them to exonerate themselves if they believe their actions were justifiable. He spoke Tuesday on the Truth Breakfast show. The World Bank and the International Fund for Agriculture Development, IFAD, have concluded a technical implementation support mission, RSM, for the Rural Economic Transformation Project, RETRAP, and the Smallholder Agriculture Transformation and Agrobusiness Revitalization Project in Liberia. The ISM is a biannual activity that includes the review of the implementation of the projects, field visits, and engaging with policymakers, beneficiaries, and other stakeholders. The mission's objective was to review the implementation status across the project's components with an emphasis on financial management and procurement performance and compliance with environmental and social safeguards and agreed on action to speed up implementation. The mission, which is the first for 2024, occurred between 29th January and 28th February and included the Minister of Agriculture, Alexander Nutter, World Bank Country Manager Georgia Welland, World Bank Tax Team Leader Dr. Kade GC, and other bank executives. It also includes IFAD Country Program Analyst John Koluba, the Liberia Agriculture Commercialization Fund Manager, as well as senior staff of the Ministry of Agriculture and World Bank Project Implementation Unit managed by the National Project Coordinator Gala Toto. Speaking at a wrap-up meeting held at his Congotown office recently, Agriculture Minister Alexander Nuta said he was impressed with the project's support towards financial institutions that are helping smallholders address their fight for access to finance. He is quoted in a release as saying this action supports his vision of an agricultural bank that will cater to the needs of farmers who are struggling to get loans from the existing banks in the country. In a related development, Agriculture Minister Alexander Nutter has disclosed the launch of the University of Liberia Farm this Thursday. Appearing Tuesday on Truth FM flagship program State of the Nation, Minister Nutter said the initiative is intended to train more university students, which will encourage them to venture into the agriculture sector. The farm, which according to him will be situated on the Fender campus of the University of Liberia, will serve as the model of agriculture development in Liberia. He said the farm will be managed by the College of Agriculture and Forestry and will serve as the foundation for what the government hopes to achieve in the agriculture sector. Minister Nota at the same time said the initiative is part of President Joseph Boakai's vision to establish a farm for all community colleges in the country. Montserrat County District 3 Representative Smo Moba has described the signing of the amnesty law in Ghana as a mere political meeting that has no bearing on the quest for justice in Liberia. Representative Moba, who is the main proponent of the resolution recently passed by the House for a War and Economic Crimes Code, said people who committed heinous crimes during the Liberian War must not go with impunity. According to Moba, there are people who got affected as a result of the Liberian War and are still crying for justice. He believes that the cries of the Liberian people need to be heard in making sure justice is served and that those who participated in the war account for their actions. He made the statement Tuesday on a local radio show in Monrovia. The National Safety Partnership of Liberia, NASAPA, is commending national government for steps taken toward public safety in the country. NASAPA has firstly applauded the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency for embarking on its operations across the country to raid the dealers and users of narcotic substances, including kush, a substance the group said is damaging the future generation. Speaking at a news conference Tuesday, NASAPA Director of Public Service and International Development, Wia Kape, described the step taken by Savvy Group of companies to enhance ongoing public safety efforts by erecting mobile police booths as laudable on the part of the government. Kape said the commissioning of the first state-of-the-art security booth with promise made by Police Inspector General Gregory Coleman to erect thousands across the country is a clear manifestation of President Boakai's quest to transform the security sector. Kape noted that these steps recently taken by the Boakai Kun administration have increased the energy of the National Safety Partnership of Liberia to continue to advocate and take deliberate actions to help instill public safety, including road safety. In more news, the leadership of Gaza community in Seoul Clinic has termed the accusations levied against them by a group of flood victims as misleading and false. According to the leadership, about 200 houses are usually affected every year by floods, and they have been engaging stakeholders and partners to increase the limited supply given by the National Disaster Management Agency and the Liberian National Red Cross Society. The leadership also told RCA News on Tuesday that the Red Cross has provided clarity that only 130 flood victims will be served, of which 110 have already received supplies, with 20 homes remaining and are expected to benefit from the gesture. The leadership alleged that both Gabrielin Dabla and Rosalind Tobin have motives which are intended to frighten NGOs and partners from supporting the people of Gaza community in Painesville. The Gaza community leadership is calling on NGOs, stake actors, and other partners to trash what it calls lawless statement and continue to provide assistance for the people of Gaza in Painesville. The leadership spoke through Joe Payu Wendu on Tuesday. Out of Liberia now, soldiers from Sudan's army have recaptured the headquarters of the state broadcaster in Omdurman, the city just across the Nile from the capital Khartoum, the army has said. This is a symbolic breakthrough for the army in its 11-month civil war with the Rapid Support Forces. The RSF had held the headquarters since just after fighting broke out. The conflict in Sudan has led 8 million people to flee their homes, and there are warnings of growing hunger, according to the BBC. Videos being shared on social media show soldiers celebrating outside the state broadcaster in Omdurman. Well, Henson, that's the news bulletin.
Margaret Davis for the news bulletin and the foreign development. The bulletin of news, it is a regular feature on the news program. If you are just joining us in one of the top developments, we are following veteran Liberian journalist and former BBC correspondent Jonathan Pelele Bass calls for the establishment of a War and Economic Crimes Code. Says people must account for deliberately killing during the Liberian Civil War. Let's now bring you the voices of the newsmakers, beginning with this development. The Joint Committee set up at the House of Representatives to investigate reports of non-compliance and bad labor practices at China Union have presented its findings to the plenary of the House of Representatives. Representative P. McDre, who chairs the Joint Committee on Concession and Investments, Labor and Judiciary, said their investigation established that China Union is in total violation of the concession agreement with the government. Representative Dre, presenting the committee's report Tuesday in section, said employees of China Union have no safe drinking water and they are working without safety gears. The Director General of the Civil Service Agency, Josiah Jukat, has unveiled an astonishing payroll statistics of over 67,000 employees across 403 spending entities, with an alarming monthly wage bill of over 23 million United States dollars. Jukat vowed to implement stringent measures focusing on streamlining the workforce, eliminating redundancies, inefficiencies, and irregularities.
As of this moment today, March 12, 2024, the bank balance of the CSA USD and domestic dollar account is $191. And the Nigerian dollar account value, that's the bank balance, is $10,200. As of February 2024, the total employee strength of the CSA alone is 322, of which more than 200 sit at the central office with a total wage bill of 227,000 United States dollars, 416 and 52 cents. Furthermore, I have inherited an overstocked payroll currently sustaining 67,746 employees across the 130 spending entities, with an alarming average monthly wage bill of United States dollars 23 million $543 $874 and 64 cents. This financial burden is seriously straining government resources and depriving citizens of crucial social services such as education, healthcare, infrastructure, and sanitation. In the coming days, the CSA will take stringent measures to significantly streamline the workforce, eliminating redundancies, inefficiencies, and irregularities.
Thus, the voice of Josiah Jukat, the Director General of the Civil Service Agency. Veteran Liberian journalist and former BBC correspondent in Liberia, Jonathan Peleda, has backed calls for the establishment of a War and Economic Crimes Court in the country. He said a court is not only for people who committed crimes during the 14 year of civil war, but it will also serve as deterrent for people who want to indulge in similar acts in the future.
If the war crime comes now, it will not just be about people who are alleged to have committed crimes in the country. It will be about people too who may want to do similar things in the future. So they should serve as a deterrent. So I feel that people should be made to account for whatever they do because
Mami,
under
I
our
think
laws,
for you
you are
go do it.
doing
Ask him.
improving justice. So I believe strongly that even people who want to have justification for whatever they did or did not do in the war should make themselves available to the court so that they are able to impeach themselves. But if anybody keeps resisting that, that would seem to suggest that there is something that you want to harm. I went on the court, I started massacre when George Mova was superintendent of Hong County, and he and I went to the tank of Uruguay. Banga just to remove forces. The state people who were running from Banga who decided to take the Kumoya road, more than 800 of them were just killing that town. And people are using that to know the perpetrators of this thing. So even if residents of the area will be lying, those who have been accused to come out to exonerate themselves, they will kill in Singe. I went there and I think the scene of British stone to go there. Right here, Dupuno massacre and Katakia massacre, all of places. We heard about Sonny River G and all of this is the Lutheran church. But the state people who were running away went there, the Red Cross had put a sign there to secure the Lutheran church. Some guys just went there in the night, just killed over 600 of them. 99% of them from Nima County. And very well, those stars said in our country, CDC, there used to be United Nations headquarters. They went there and killed people. So I'm just saying this to say that, look, and you realize that specifically into my senators and the attention in there, because I'm always irritated by his reaction to this whole war crimes code thing. Ben Johnson participated in the war, but it was interesting to know that the war that went on in this country for 14 years, Ben Johnson didn't fight for 2 years. Ben Johnson did the way through Nima. When he broke away from Taylor, he made a way through Nima, he passed through different towns, the Ghana, you, ended with Zoinja, then Kilo Banga. He was just fighting the easy way to enter Monrovia. I agree, Nima too was being killed in Monrovia. I agree, that's why all of us were running away. And one brought me to a Kennedy Junction here, I was taking refuge there before, I would see MPFL people. But we saw deliberate killings in Nigeria. A journalist who covered the if or maybe what is being said about a particular former warring faction leader is an exaggeration, investigation report is established. Judges are not there to definitely appoint due process. You give it due process if you are exonerated of what you will be exonerated. If what people say about you is just witch hunt, it will be established. But I believe that we have to have this code, and the code is also for economic crimes that have made other forms of this.
Jonathan Pileta is former BBC correspondent in Liberia, backing calls for the establishment of a War and Economic Crimes Court in the country. So, well, folks, if you are just joining us, a reminder of the top developments we are following on today's edition of the news program. New Civil Service Agency Director General proposes by monthly salary payment for civil servants reveals astonishing payroll statistics across 103 spending entities, with an alarming monthly wage bill of over 23 million United States dollars. Horses Joint Committee holds China Union liable for non-compliance and bad labor practices at its concession in Bond County, orders the company to immediately make corrections. Veteran Liberian journalist and former BBC correspondent Jonathan Pileta backs calls for the establishment of a War and Economic Crimes Court, says people must account for deliberate killings during the war. And away from Liberia, soldiers from Sudan's army have recaptured the headquarters of the state broadcaster. Let's continue with more developments. Back to this development, the Joint Committee set up at the House of Representatives to investigate reports of non-compliance and bad labor practices at China Union has presented its findings to the plenary of the House of Representatives. Representative P. McDrew, who chairs the Joint Committee on Concession and Investments, Labor and Judiciary, said their investigation established that China Union is in total violation of the concession agreement with the government. Representative Dure, presenting the committee report Tuesday in section, said employees of China Union have no safe drinking water and they are working without safety gears. He added that China Union has over the years refused to pay remittances of employees to Social Security and recommended that the company within 3 months renovate the bomb mines and the bomb mines hospital and the school as enshrined in the agreement. Speaking, the proponent of the communication, Bond County District 7 Representative 40 Famlet, told the management of China Union that his advocacy is not intended to destroy the company but for the right things to be done in the interest of the people of Bong County and Liberia at large.
Big thank you to the committee for doing a more serious work. There was a lot of voting to do a lot of investigation to verify some of the issues raised and to keep the interest of the Liberian people alive. I think we all were starting on the right path. Our agent has not been for China Union to lead. It has always been for China Union to comply with what they have signed up to. Because if they leave up to these things, our people will benefit and they themselves as business actors will be able to yield the necessary benefit they deserve. But they cannot come and live in our and operating our community at the end of the day, our people fail to benefit. So what we believe the report is in the interest of our people, and we look forward to ensure that we can have a small working relationship and implement that. We remain on the ground, we will monitor the report on a daily basis, we will listen to you, we will continue to ensure that the full report has been presented to plenary.
For the Farmer is Bond County District 7 Representative is speaking following the presentation of the Joint Committee's report to the plenary of the House of Representatives. In continuous local and international efforts to support agricultural productivity, the World Bank and the International Fund for Agricultural Development have concluded a technical implementation support mission for the retract and the stampede in Liberia. The implementation support mission is a biannual activity that includes the review of the implementation of the project's field visits and engaging with policymakers, beneficiaries, and other stakeholders. Our reporter Mark Davis followed and fast this report.
The implementation support mission for the Rural Economic Transformation Project RETRAP and Smallholder Agriculture Transformation and Agribusiness Revitalization Project (ARSM) is a biannual activity that includes the review of the implementation of the projects, field visits, and engaging with policymakers, beneficiaries, and other stakeholders. The mission's objective was to review the implementation status across the project's components with an emphasis on financial management and procurement performance and compliance with environmental and social safeguards and agreed on actions to speed up implementation. The mission, which is the first for 2024, occurred between 29th January and 28th February and included the Minister of Agriculture, Alexander Nuta, World Bank Country Manager, Georgia Wallen, World Bank Tax Team Leader, Dr. Kadi Kiasi, and other bank executives. It also included IFAD Country Program Analyst John Koluba, the Liberia Agriculture Commercialization Fund Manager, as well as senior staff of the Ministry of Agriculture and World Bank Project Implementation Unit, the PIU, managed by the National Project Coordinator Gala Toto, while Steve Marvin and Tano Jeke served as operations managers for the Stapi and Retrap respectively. Speaking at a wrap-up meeting held at his Town office, Agriculture Minister Alexander Nuta said he was impressed with the project's support towards financial institutions that are helping smallholders address their plight for access to finance. He is quoted in the release as saying this action supports his vision of an agricultural bank that will cater to the needs of farmers who are struggling to get loans from the existing banks due to the long gestation periods for their various crops. He also applauded the deployment of projects counting focal persons that are implementing the work of the ministry's extension staff, stressing the need to do more. Also speaking, when she toured some interventions of the PRU, World Bank country manager Georgia Wallen said she was excited to see that women were adequately captured in the implementation of the projects. She noted that it was important to promote gender and social inclusivity at all levels. For his part, Dr. Yesi said significant progress has been made in key areas including proper documentation of expenditure and strengthening the gender, environmental, and social safeguard components of the project. Thus, the mission can be labeled as successful. The mission visited project sites and interacted with stakeholders in Bombing, Bong, Lofa, Margibi, Monserrado, and Nimba counties. In Lofa County, Sabono, manager of the Makonan River Farms, disclosed that the support they received from the Ministry of Agriculture through the STAR project greatly impacted their bumper harvest. He said they have harvested over 65 tons of paddy that are ready to be milled. He noted that this is a huge increase compared to the 13 tons they were harvesting before the intervention. He said this is largely because of the support they have received from the Ministry of Agriculture, World Bank, and IFAD through the project. The team also visited the two rice processing plants operated by Mohammed Kamara and John Selma in Lofa County. For RCR News, this is Marka Davis reporting.
Thanks to Margaret Davis for that report. Let's now welcome Naomi Tapia to bring us the sporting developments. Good evening.
Good evening, Vincent. Good evening, everyone. Powerful Angels Kickball Club will welcome SWAT Kickball Club in League 2 of the Liberia Kickball Federation at the Summer Cardo Sports Complex at 3:30 p.m. The match will be followed by Skills Kickball Club and United Royal Girls in the same category and venue at 4:10 to continue the SIGA National League fixtures for this Thursday. Shooting Star and Watanga will come face to face at the same venue at 5 p.m. to climax out of the league kickball fixtures for the day. The second division fixture of the just commenced Liberia Basketball Association League Monday was described by fans as total dragging when Spartacus walloped Cardinals 89 to 26 points. Fans of Cardinal were left in complete dismay after witnessing such demolition of their side by another in the same category of the LBA League. The battles for the championship in all versions of the basketball leagues promise to be tough as most results from the previous games played are competitive. In the first division category, Balanceville Dragons forfeited to the Bushel Bulls, leaving fans of the sport disappointed on Monday night at the famous SKD basketball gym. Cameroonian club Vittoria United has defended Wilfred Nathan Douala after the midfielder was accused of age cheating. The 17-year-old was a surprise inclusion in the indomitable Lions squad for 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. Douala is among 62 players to have been suspended from the domestic league by Cameroon's Football Federation, FICAFOOT, or for double identification or age fraud. Douala did not feature at this year's Nations Cup finals, where Cameroon were not out in the last 16 by eventual runners-up Nigeria. Yet, after being called up by then coach Rogope Song, there was much comment on social media about whether Douala was really a teenager when pictures of the player first surfaced. His inclusion in the squad in Africa's could lead to the five-time African champions being banned from future tournaments if his registration is proved to have been falsified. Nations Cup regulations state that if a fraud or a forgery has been committed, the national association concerned will be suspended from participation in the following two editions of the Continental Showpiece. For an administrative error in the registration of players, the national association concerned will be suspended from the next edition, the rules act. And Celta Vigo have sacked manager Rafael Benitez after less than 9 months. Former Liverpool and Chelsea boss Benitez, 63, joined the La Liga side on 23 June last year and departs after winning just 5 of his 28 league matches in charge of Celta. He leaves the club 17th in the Spanish top flight, sitting outside of the relegation zone by just 2 points. It was Benitez's first managerial role since being sacked by Premier League side Everton in January 2022. In 33 games in all competitions, Celta managed just 9 wins, 3 of which were against lower division sides in the Copa del Rey. His final game with Celta was a 4-0 defeat to another of his former clubs, Real Madrid, on Sunday. A club statement said Rafael Benitez and his staff leave RC Celta after 8 months of absolute dedication and total commitment, but in which the team has not obtained the result expected by the club. Celta Vigo are next in La Liga action on Sunday at Sevilla, kicking off at 1300 Greenwich time. Benitez won the 2005 Champions League and 2006 FA Cup with Liverpool and the 2013 Europa League during his interim spell at Chelsea. He guided Newcastle to promotion from the Championship in the 2016 to 17 season. He has also managed Valencia, Inter Milan, and Napoli. That's all from our sports desk.
Appear for the sporting development. Sports is a segment on the news program. Let's continue with more news. Mansourata County District 3 Representative Momoba has described the signing of the amnesty law in Ghana as a mere political meeting that has no bearing on the quest for justice in Liberia. Representative Momoba, who is the main proponent of the resolution recently passed by the House for a War and Economic Crimes Code, said people who commit heinous crimes during the Liberian Civil War must not go with impunity. The National Safety Partnership of Liberia is commending national government for steps taken toward public safety in the country. The SAPAT has firstly applauded the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency for embarking on its operations across the country. to raid the dealers and users of narcotic substances, including kush, a substance the group said is damaging the future generation. Speaking at a press conference Tuesday, NASAPA Director of Public Services and International Development, Wia Kappa, described the step taken by SAP group of companies to enhance ongoing public safety efforts by erecting mobile police booths as laudable on the part of government.
They score a great mark by raiding. I don't live in the same time area, on the Bush Island, but news carried it that the gentleman and his team that they raided on that side were well-known drug dealers and users. We saw the videos when they were raided. The whole community over there was full of jubilation. So we thought by that action alone, it indicated the government's determination to make Liberia secure in terms of the well-being of the people, in terms of protection. And so we thanked them that time. We issued a press release to thank the DEA, we thank Colonel Command and his team for the great job. Then this is the next public safety efforts that the government has undertaken. And this effort is the part that they have built and commissioned just recently a mobile police booth. And this booth is, of course, you see the place, what's a little small place? But it's not the size, but it's the sophistication. It's the purpose and what it is out to do. And that is being done or was being done by a group called Civil Group of Companies as partners to the government. That booth is fitted with CCTV camera and then fitted with a base phone. So that CCTV camera, I understand, is not enough for people at home to see what the camera picks up, but it's meant for the security people who are monitoring it to know what is happening, beyond the circumference of the book. So we think this is a good thing. It signifies the government's determination to fight crime. It signifies the government's determination to ensure that the people are safe and secure. Because when people are safe and secure, investment can boom. The attitude of the people, like Rwanda I visited, for example, when I came back in 2016, I visited for 10 days. When I came back, I told my wife and my children that we were going to leave our beautiful country and go to Rwanda because of what I saw, because of what of things that you can leave this building open 2, 3 days. Nobody's going to pass here to take anything.
The voice of the NASAPA Director of Public Service and International Development, Wia Kappa. The leadership of Gaza Community Soul Clinic has termed the accusations levied against them by a group of flood victims as misleading and false. According to the leadership, about 200 houses are usually affected every year by floods, and they have been engaging stakeholders and partners to increase the limited supply given by the National Disaster Management Agency and the Liberia National Red Cross Society. The leadership also told us news on Tuesday that the Red Cross has provided clarity that only 130 flood victims will be served, of which 110 have already received supplies. Gaza leadership spoke through Joe Bayu Weyu on Tuesday.
We don't want to use fire for fire, but I will tell you, the Gaza leadership is being the strongest tool, condemn and describe the action taken by Gabriel Dalla and Rosalind Toma with their eight followers as baseless, negative mindset designed to obstruct or drive away NGO, partners, and others who they wish to help the people of Gaza community in their wake of natural disasters. This was clearly was provided by the Red Cross people, but they didn't know it. And I will tell you, the Gaza University has been governed by board of elders and by federal council. Their function is to settle dispute or conflict that seem challenging to the leadership. Now the question, why leaving all these people and address your grievance to Canada? In fact, it is in violation of our Gaza constitution, and Gabriel was members of the draft constitution. Moreover, Gaza has a population of 4 to 5,000 residents, and close to 200 houses usually affected by flood almost every year. The leadership have been engaging state actors, partners, their best way to ease this problem, then giving limited supply, which have been challenging during the period of minority. The negative, as a Liberian, is negative propaganda, negative mindset. We need to preserve also that shortly there will be meeting with the so-called agreed representatives. And we will go there to hear why they are crying wolf around here. When the panel on record has provided clarity that only one rejected affected person to receive, in which they have said 110 already, and balance 20 names to be said. In fact, I was one of those who was dissatisfied, but from the clarity of record, and it's all.
The voice of Joe Kwayu when you there speaking on behalf of the leadership of Gaza community. They're bringing us to the end of today's edition of the news program. As we take leave of you, these are the top stories we have been following on today's edition of News Desk. New Civil Service Agency Director General proposes bi-weekly salary payment for civil servants, reveals astonishing payroll statistics across 103 spending entities with an alarming monthly wage bill over 23 million United States dollars. Horses Joint Committee holds China Union liable for non-compliance and bad labor practices at its concession in Bond County, orders the company to immediately make corrections. Veteran Liberian journalist and former BBC correspondent Jonathan Peleda backs calls for the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Code, says people must account for the deliberate killings during the Civil War. And away from Liberia, soldiers from Sudan's army have recaptured the headquarters of the state broadcaster. Many thanks to our correspondents, writers, reporters, editors, those who helped in making this March 12th edition of the news program a success. Marka Davis read for us the news bulletin, the foreign development. Now being tapped a factor in the sporting developments. Johnson Batoma ably coordinated the sound. Myean Torgbean sat behind the camera phone on behalf of the news team. My name is Hanson Dekara, presenter. Good evening.
Starting today, why not have a little more fun? Why not use money this easily? Why not get even closer to family? Why not work how you've always wanted? Fun, money, family, work. No network keeps you connected to it all, quite like Orange. It's all about what matters to you. Orange.
Your family members abroad need to send you money? Worry no more. Henceforth, receive your international money transfers from Europe, USA, and South Africa made via Western Union, MoneyGram, and many more directly into your Orange Money account. At Orange Money, we are family.
Oh,